Okay, everyone, good morning. What we're going to talk about this morning is um, doing research for captioning, for carton captioning, so that you're prepared for what it is you're going to be doing. And so, one of the things that I want to show you is in the topic files on our C drive. If you go to C and then topic files, you'll see all of the folders that we include by default. I've added a folder called scripts, which for me is all about carton captioning. And then I've started to create some different lists. So I went and did some research on chemistry and biology and a few science subjects. And what I actually do is I'll look something up, like for instance, um, if I want to research, um, let's see, Mesopotamian history. Let's see. And just type it in, and it'll immediately bring up some options that I can use. And I normally will just go to whatever looks good to me and see if it has some good stuff, which as you can see, this one does. And generally, what I'll do is I'll just highlight it, right click and copy. And then I generally will go to my scripts, right click, new text document. And then I'll type in history of Mesopotamia. Double click, enter twice, and then control V. And that pastes what I've just copied into a text only document. I do file save, file exit, and now I've got some text on the history of Mesopotamia. Now, I can do that all day long. Like there's 3 pages here, so I can go and get more. Control C. And then back here, and if I just want to add it to history of Mesopotamia, I can do that. Get my cursor in there, Control V. I can minimize it and go back to the site and get the 3rd page. Control C, back to my history of Mesopotamia. Enter to get a new line, and Control V. File save, and I'm done. And now I can run that text file through Dragon if I'm going to do a class on the history of Mesopotamia and be a little prepared before I actually do the class. I'm going to minimize this and this. And I'm going to go ahead and go to Scratchpad in SpeechCat or SpeechCart. Scratchpad allows us to work on our vocabulary without creating a job file. And because all I want to do is learn from specific documents, I don't really need a job file. It would just be something I'd end up having to delete.
That is not in SpeechCart.
That's not in SpeechCart?
No.
Okay. Then you'd have to do it in real time. Or you could do it in Dragon by itself. I'm going to open up my cart user. I'm going to wait until the engine loads. Now I see topic ready and I can work. So I'm going to go to learn, add words from documents, which is the same as learn from specific documents. And I'm going to let it find unknown words and adapt to the writing style. I'll click on next and then add document. And I'm going to go to topic files on the C drive. And I'm going to go to my scripts list. And I'm going to select the history of Mesopotamia and open. I'll click on next. Next. And here are a bunch of words that Dragon did not recognize. Some of them are not words that I want. Like this is probably just regarding the names of files, so I wouldn't want that. But there are some interesting things in here. Semi-historical, that's a new word for me. Some of these have got to be words that are specifically regarding the like history world. I wouldn't add AA 53 or any. I probably would add this, but I'd have to figure out how to say it first. And, I'd go through it and say, okay, well, these are the things I want. If you're not sure what words to add, you can just uncheck all, move to next. And it's still learning context from your text. So it's still adding something that is good for you. I'll just click on next, and it said that 31 new words were found. I didn't add any words to the vocabulary, and I click on finish. And that's it. This morning I was doing some research. A lot of people like to do cart for their church while they're learning how to cart, just because it's good experience. And so I also found a site where I could go and get any specific verse or I don't know what it's really called from the Bible. This is Ezekiel. And so I'd do the same thing. I'd highlight. You can also use the, I'm saying you can use the shift and down arrow, but that's not working for me. And so I can right click and copy. And then I can bring up my topic files. And I have one specifically for religious. And so I right click, go to new text document, and I would call it what it is, Ezekiel 1. If I hit enter twice, it'll open up the document. I can just do Control V to paste, file, save, and close. And so now I have that passage. So when you're doing cart, for example, if you're doing cart for your church, you could always talk to your priest or pastor and say, okay, so what are you going to be talking about today? And if you have that in text, if you have already got a file that you're going to read from, could you forward that to me? Or if you're going to be talking about a certain passage, could you let me know what that passage is so that I could go and do exactly what I'm showing you here? And so once you do that, you can return to Scratchpad or Realtime and again do add words from documents and next. And then I can do add folder, and I can go to C, topic files, scripts, and religious, and okay. And that's going to bring in all the religious things that I've done. I can click on next. And it's going to show me a bunch of words that I may very well need to add. These are all very different to me, things that I've not normally seen, and things that Dragon is saying it has not seen either. So normally I would want to check those and actually train them and add them to the vocabulary. But since I'd have to go and do research on how to say some of these things, I'm not going to add them now. I'm just going to click on next and let it learn from the context of what I've added to the scripts. And then always we want to save our speech files after we do something like that, because if we don't save our speech files, Dragon won't keep that for the next time we open that user. So that's how you do your research. That's how you add words and documents to your list. Michelle, do you have some word lists that you'd like to show them?
Yes. In the past, I've heard reporters talk about adding, and this may be more for captioning, but thinking about the recent, can y'all hear me okay?
I can hear you great.
Okay. Thinking about the recent Olympics, or when there's something specific going on that you're going to be covering, you can actually go and look up, like, for example, just a couple of days ago, I was looking into this and I researched the names of the United States Olympic athletes. I also researched all the cities in the state of Louisiana. Do you want to?
Give you control? Yes.
Yes. Wait. Okay. So, let's see. Since I already did Louisiana, I'm going to do cities. No, Allison is from Boston, right? And the rest of us, I'm going to do cities.
Yes.
In Massachusetts alphabetically. And so what happened for me is I think I actually used Wikipedia. Let's see. Okay, so, and these got a little, spreadsheets are awesome, but what I was able to do is come here and highlight the list.
Will you end up putting that in Word instead of text only, so that you can, it comes out in columns and you can delete the ones you don't want?
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
I'm glad I'm doing this because I was thinking I got pictures, but then I was like, okay, how am I going to explain this? So I right-clicked and copied. Did I right-click and copy? Let me make sure. I'm going to do Control-C just to be on the safe side. Then I would go to...
You see this little black arrow that's appearing as I point to the top of the column?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that allows you to select the column. And if you right-click, let's see. Normally, if you right-click on that selection, you will get, okay, so I can delete the column. See that? And then if I highlight it again, and then right-click on the selection, I can delete that column. And then again, highlight it, and then right-click, delete column. Now, I don't know if this looks like maybe it might be the counties, And so I think I might highlight what's here. Hey, Mitch. Right click and copy.
I am back. Yeah, I assume we'll have lots.
So I copied it before I deleted the column because I want to paste it. I'm going to delete that last column, and then I'm going to go to the very bottom where I have a blank line, and I'm going to paste what appeared to be those, to me it appeared to be maybe counties. So now I've got it one word list, but it's still in a table. So I can usually go to the table properties and convert. Sometimes I can convert a table to text, but there is another way to do it. If you do File, Save As, Text Only File. I'm going to browse to Topic Files. And this is a word list, so I can put it under word lists, but I can also put it under my scripts and just call it Mass Cities and Counties. And instead of saving it as a Word document, if you save it as a plain text document, you hit save. And then I'm going to, I wouldn't want it to do this. If I do insert line breaks, then it's actually still going to be one list. And that's what I want. It's just one column of lists. So I'll click on OK. And once it's saved, I'm going to close this document. And I'm going to go File, Open. And I'm going to open up Mass Cities and Counties. And now you can see that it's just a nice, clean list of words, which happen to be cities and counties in Boston. I mean, in Mass. So there we go. That's a word list. Any questions about the word list and creating the word list?
Yeah, and I learned something new in there as well. I had never thought about just saving it as a text file. The only thing that I would do, because I'm a purist, is I would have taken the counties and like deleted, because they're probably in there 50 times each,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
That's the only
Yeah.
only thing I would have done differently. But
Gotcha.
I learned something new because I didn't have to convert text to table. And the only thing that, Adria, that you have to highlight it for it to convert. That's why it didn't show up.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Well, then you helped me as well.
So you want to, okay, so we'll go to Scratchpad. Yeah, so once topic is ready.
Okay.
Okay, and then we would go to add words from list, which is the button, Adria. If you wanted to go to speech, it would be listed as add words from list. And typically what happens when you click on some of the Dragon tools in SpeechCat or SpeechCart, the Dragon icon will be in your taskbar. So you typically have to go to your taskbar to look for the Dragon icon, which looks like a little, we can't see your taskbar, Adria.
Oh, well, I'm showing the whole desktop, so I'm not sure why.
Oh.
Okay, maybe I'm not. Let's see. Can you see it now?
There we go. Yes.
I'm going to close out of a few things so there's room.
Some other situations that you might create a word list for.
Well, for instance, if you were doing church work, you might want to create a list of people in the Bible.
Yeah. Also, what the word list does, it also prioritizes the words because, Dragon's vocabulary is very large, 250, probably more than 250,000 words. And so, by doing the vocabulary builder that Adria did earlier, it adapts to the writing style. But what it does, it takes what you've done in vocabulary editor vocabulary builder and add words from lists, and it prioritizes that. It brings it to the active vocabulary. There's two different vocabularies. There's a primary active vocabulary and there's a backup vocabulary. The active, because research shows that most people only use 30,000 words, Dragon has a list of the 30,000 most popular words. And so as you do vocabulary building and add word from lists, Dragon changes the priority of words based on your usage. So that's helping with that as well. And so even though all of the cities in Boston are probably already in the vocabulary, cities in Massachusetts, but with Dragon being located in Boston, they might be priorities anyway, but Louisiana, that might not in fact be the case. So it just takes all of those cities and those words and it prioritizes them so that there's a better chance that it's going to recognize those words.
That's a good explanation.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And then after we do this, we can open the floor for questions, because after this, I think that's all.
Yep.
I think your Dragon thinks that maybe, just maybe, this daylight saving times or whatever it is sucks.
I think so. I don't think my Dragon is awake yet.
I don't think I am either.
Same here. And you guys are even earlier. At least it's, a little later here.
Yeah. Yeah, it was still dark outside when my alarm rang, and the light is what wakes me up in the morning. I'm not like Adria. I don't wake up early, but I didn't drink any coffee, so I can go back to bed.
That's smart.
Okay, so here we are, Mitch. Do you see it?
Yes. Okay. So we have now import a list of words or phrases, and if you'd like, you can preview the list of words or phrases. If you've created a list of cities, you don't have to do that. You can, if you want to train the words as you bring them in, you can definitely do that. And sometimes if words are unique, it's a good idea to train them before you put them in the vocabulary, so there's an acoustic signature assigned to the word. So we're going to go ahead and keep that checked and click on Next. We're going to click on Add File. We're going to browse to the location that Adria saved the files in. She's already there. Oh, no. Wait, that's the wrong. Oh.
Which one do you want?
That wasn't a word list. I'm glad you did.
Actually, it is.
Oh, okay.
It's Bible names and facts. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go cancel out of this. Or wait. I'm sorry. Go back to Add File. And let's add the Massachusetts cities and counties. And click on Next. Now, one thing we forgot to say and maybe we did, but when you're creating a word list, it's important that each word is on its separate line. Each word or phrase is on a separate line, because and when you're running the file analysis and bringing in word lists, it's important that you don't accidentally run the wrong kind of document through, like you have the cleaned up text that is in a context and has paragraphs. But a word list should be the single word or phrase on each line, because Dragon will see each line as a separate word.
Yes, and my word list, my Bible, it's Bible names and facts. So where I went wrong with that was leaving the facts in. I should have just had Bible names in that.
Are you going to show us what it looks like?
Yes.
You're so smart. Let's see.
So up here, I'm doing good. But then I get to here. See, that, and additions to Esther wisdom. So I would need to delete anything that's not just one word.
Well, another thing you have to, there's two other things about word lists that you have to be aware of if you're creating your own. You cannot have 2 consecutive spaces in the list. If there's any place where 2 consecutive spaces exist, it will not bring in any part of the list. And then the next thing is, if any singular word or singular line has more than 99 characters, it will not bring it in either. You see, like, and look, you see where those colons are? Those colons might actually be in all this like scripted text. It could be that there's just too much information in that.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this one as just Bible names. And then it's a good list to use.
So why don't we finish what we were doing, and then we can go back and add your list.
Because you see how it had an X there? That means it will not add it.
Right. Now, at this point, if we wanted to, at this point, because we previewed the list, we would want to do check all. And what you might notice is that there were a lot more names in the Massachusetts cities, but these are the ones that it didn't find. So let's click on next. Because what's going to happen is if the word is already in the vocabulary, it may not show up here. So at this point, if you were bringing in the list of words, you would want to train them. We're not going to do that now for the sake of time. Click on next, and it's going to say it added 42 words. And then after we do this, we want to make sure that we save our speech files. Just to make sure. I think I'm very cautious. After I do anything I say important, I save my speech files.
Yeah, even though sometimes it'll do it for you, you still want to make sure you do it yourself, because
it doesn't tell me it's saving the speech files. So that makes me a little bit suspicious.
I agree. Now,
Okay.
if we want to go and verify that it's in our vocabulary, we could go to custom words only here.
Did you see what one of the names, I can't see the text very well because I don't have on my glasses, but did you see one of the names of the?
Yes, Manchester by the Sea.
There we go. There's a movie about that.
That's right. So you can see the ones that were added. Like Akina, that was added. That's one of the towns. East Bridgewater, East Brookfield, East Longmeadow. So yeah, I definitely added them.
Great. Now, are you going to run your Bible names through as well?
Oh, okay. We can do that. So I'll do add words from list. Review the list. Add file. Go to where it exists. I'm going to do just the Bible names. Okay. Next. Now it went through. There's a little green check. And Song of Songs was the only thing that came up, and I thought I deleted that. because it was a multiple word.
Well, the multiple words are okay because you will be adding, like if you added a voice brief list,
Right.
that it can't have over 99 characters
Gotcha.
or 2 spaces.
And what we realized there is that all of those Bible names were already in Dragon's vocabulary.
Yes.
However, it may have been in the backup vocabulary. And as Michelle said earlier, it's now prioritized it.
And what do we do now?
Save the speech files.
Say it again? No.
Save the speech file. Hallelujah.
Okay. So that's it. I mean, do you have anything else to cover about?
No, not really. I just wanted to give everybody the knowledge of how to go and do their research for topics, because in CART, that's going to be very important. It's very important in no matter what you do, if you're using SpeechCat and Dragon, adding word list, adding documents is really, really important to your success, and it will increase the accuracy of what you're doing. And if you want to test that yourself, go and find something on Real Time Coach and say, okay, well, this is a class on chemistry. Well, then go find something on Chemistry 1 online, save it as, a text-only file and run it through, and then do it and see if you find that your accuracy is higher. It really does make a difference. And so anytime you can do some research and get some text that is something like what you're about to do, you are going to have better results.